The Galactic Council chamber floated in the cold light of a dying star. The air shimmered with golden energy shields, and the voices of 30 alien species echoed through the hall. They had come to decide the fate of one small blue world, Earth. At the center of the chamber, the Supreme Commander of the Galactic Command rose from his throne. His armor glowed with ancient symbols. His voice was deep and calm, but carried the weight of judgment. "The vote is final," he said. "Earth has been declared powerless. Humanity is no longer a recognized power in this galaxy." The chamber filled with noise. Alien diplomats clapped their claws, wings, and metal hands. Some laughed. Others spoke with cruel smiles. "They had spirit," said one tall insectoid general, "but they were wild, unorganized. Now they are finished." "Good riddance," hissed another. "Humans were always too emotional to rule the stars." The Supreme Commander raised his hand for silence. "Let it be known," he said, "that Earth's fleets are destroyed. Their colonies are abandoned. Their systems will be divided among loyal member worlds." The lights dimmed. A hologram of Earth appeared, small and silent, turning slowly in the dark. The words "Powerless World" glowed across it in alien script, and with that the Council moved on to other matters. To them, Earth was history, forgotten. But deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, in a silent base carved from black stone, someone else was listening. Admiral Elias Reyes stood alone in the command center, his eyes fixed on the same hologram. The Council's words echoed through the radio feed. "Powerless." He almost smiled. The chamber around him hummed softly. Dozens of crew worked quietly in the shadows, screens glowing blue in the dim light. No one spoke. They didn't have to. They had all heard the declaration. Reyes turned to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Kara Holt, a young officer with sharp eyes and steady hands. "So," he said slowly, "they finally erased us." Kara nodded. "Yes, sir. Galactic Command believes Earth is defenseless." Reyes leaned closer to the glowing map. Tiny red lights marked the hidden locations of human ships, ships that officially didn't exist. "Good," he said. "Let them believe that." Outside, beyond the deep sea walls, massive shapes moved in the dark waters. Submarine docks opened, engines hummed. A fleet of black ships began to rise from the depths, each one hidden by layers of advanced cloaking fields. Humanity had learned to disappear. 10 years ago, the Galactic Command had invaded the outer colonies. They took Mars, Titan, and the Belt. Earth's governments had fallen. Billions died. But a few thousand soldiers, engineers, and scientists refused to surrender. They vanished beneath the oceans, into the ice, and into the shadows of old satellite fields. They built in secret. They rebuilt what was lost, and created something the aliens had never seen before, the Cloaked Fleet. Reyes watched as the ships rose through the deep water like silent ghosts. Their hulls reflected no light. No radar could find them. "For 10 years they called us extinct," he whispered. "They never asked what we were doing in the dark." Kara smiled faintly. "We've been waiting for this day, sir." Reyes nodded. "Yes, but we move only when they cross the line, when they send their fleets into our skies." Just then a soft alarm blinked red. The communications officer turned, voice tight. "Sir, we've detected a Galactic Command probe near Jupiter. It's scanning the solar system again." Reyes's eyes narrowed. "How close?" "Close enough to see Earth's orbit in 2 hours." The Admiral stood in silence for a moment. Then he said quietly, "Wake the fleet. Prepare all ships for silent launch." The control room came alive. Orders echoed. Lights turned red. Screens filled with data. Deep in the ocean hangars, engines began to roar softly. Steam and water rushed as massive gates opened to the dark sea. Above, in orbit, the alien probe drifted, cold and silent, its sensors sweeping the void. But the humans were already gone from sight. The first ships of the Cloaked Fleet broke the surface of the Atlantic at night. Waves crashed against their hulls. The sky above was black and full of stars. Each ship rose higher, engines glowing faintly blue, then vanished into nothing, cloaked completely. From orbit, Earth looked empty. No sign of war, no fleets, no defenses, and yet, in the invisible dark, humanity waited. Back in the command center, Reyes watched the last ship vanish from radar. He reached out and switched off the hologram of the Council's declaration. "Powerless," he repeated softly. "They'll regret saying that." He turned toward the viewing screen where the stars of the Milky Way burned silently. "This time," he said, "we strike from the shadows." The room fell silent again. Only the sound of distant engines filled the air. And somewhere far away, the Galactic Command celebrated their victory, unaware that the greatest human fleet ever built was already moving. Humanity had been quiet for 10 years. Now the silence was over. For 10 long years, Earth stayed silent. No signals, no ships, no transmissions. The galaxy believed the humans were gone, but under the oceans, deep inside ice moons, and hidden within forgotten asteroid tunnels, humanity survived. They called themselves the Shadow Fleet. They were engineers, soldiers and scientists who refused to die. In the black waters beneath the Atlantic, the great command bunker of Project Veil pulsed with quiet energy. Metal walls shook softly as generators powered up. Hundreds of crew worked in near darkness, guided only by glowing blue panels. Admiral Elias Reyes walked through the main corridor, his boots echoing on the steel floor. He passed walls filled with old Earth flags, faded, burned, but still hanging proudly. At the far end of the hall, Lieutenant Kara Holt waited for him. Her face was serious, her uniform worn but clean. "Fleet readiness report, sir," she said, handing him a digital tablet. Reyes glanced through it. "All systems green. Energy reserves stable. Cloaking fields, 7% efficiency." He nodded. "Better than I expected." Kara smiled faintly. "You expected less, sir?" "I expected nothing," he replied, "after what we lost." He looked toward the viewing window where shadows of massive ships drifted silently through the deep ocean. These were not the giant carriers of the old Earth Navy. These were smaller, faster, invisible. Each one powered by dark matter cores, stolen alien tech, rebuilt with human ingenuity. In the engineering bay, Chief Mason, an old mechanic with a metal arm, argued with a young technician. No, you don't reroute the plasma lines like that," Mason barked. "You'll burn the cloak generator," the boy hesitated. "But the manual says—" Mason slammed his wrench down. "Forget the manual. The aliens wrote that. We build our own rules now." He looked up as Admiral Reyes entered. Mason saluted, grinning. "Engines are purring, Admiral. The ghosts are ready to fly." Reyes nodded. "Good. Keep them that way. The moment we move, there's no turning back." Later that night, the base lights dimmed. Only a few monitors glowed in the darkness. Reyes stood alone on the balcony, looking out at the endless sea. He remembered the invasion, the fire over Mars, the broken skies of Earth, the screams in the colonies. He remembered the day the Galactic Command broadcasted their peace agreement, declaring Earth a restricted zone. Peace, they called it, but it was just another word for control, and humans had never liked control. "We built their machines," he whispered. "We powered their ships. Now we'll end them with their own technology." Kara approached quietly behind him. "Sir," she said softly. Long-range scanners picked up movement near the outer belt. Small alien patrols, probably just scouts. Reyes didn't turn. "They're checking if the grave is empty." Kara frowned. "Do we engage?" He shook his head. "No, not yet. Let them think the dead still sleep." Far above, in the emptiness of space, 3 cloaked human ships drifted silently near the orbit of Saturn. Captain Jonah Pierce, commander of the stealth cruiser Spectre, sat in his dark bridge. His crew spoke in whispers, every light dimmed. "All systems nominal," his navigator said quietly. "Enemy probe ahead, range 2,000 kilometers." Pierce leaned forward. "Visual?" A faint hologram flickered. An alien drone, silver and smooth, scanning with thin beams of light. If it detected them, the Galactic Command would know humanity lived. The crew held their breath. The drone's light swept across the darkness, passed right over the Spectre, and kept moving. "No detection," whispered the navigator. Pierce exhaled slowly. "Good. Stay in the shadows." The ships turned, engines glowing faint blue, and vanished again into the void. Back on Earth, Reyes watched the incoming reports. Every mission, every patrol, every whisper from the edge of the solar system came to his screen. He traced the alien patrol routes with his finger, thinking, planning. Kara stepped closer. "You still don't believe they'll leave us alone, do you?" Reyes gave a cold smile. "They never do. Empires never stop until someone makes them bleed." She was silent for a moment. Then she asked quietly, "And what if we lose again?" Reyes looked at her, his voice calm but hard. Then we make sure they remember our names. That same night, deep in the Arctic Circle, another human base came online. The Valkyrie station, hidden beneath ice for a decade, reactivated its systems. Frozen runways cracked open, revealing sleek black starfighters. Their engines warmed like sleeping beasts. Across the world, hidden bunkers received the same coded message. A single phrase appeared on every screen. "Prepare the fleet. Phase 1 begins." In the Galactic Command Capital, far away among alien stars, the Council celebrated. They toasted their victory over the extinct humans. But in the dark, their sensors began to glitch. Small distortions, strange signals, faint energy spikes near Earth's orbit. An insectoid officer frowned. "Strange readings, Supreme Commander. Possibly debris interference." The Supreme Commander barely looked up. "Ignore it," he said. "Earth is dead." But far beneath the oceans of that dead world, Admiral Reyes stood before his crew, eyes cold and focused. "They think we are dead," he said. "Then let's be ghosts." The lights dimmed. A silent wave of activation spread through the hidden cities and underwater hangars. Engines roared softly. Weapons charged. The cloaked fleet began to rise again. For weeks the galaxy had been quiet. Too quiet. Alien patrols moved through the solar system like hunters in an empty forest. They expected nothing. They saw nothing. And that was the problem. The Galactic Command's 7th Fleet, led by Admiral Vorka, arrived near Mars orbit. 12 massive warships glided through the dark, their hulls shining with gold and blue lights. They came to claim what was left of the human colonies: scrap metal, data cores, and old wrecks. Vorka's voice echoed through his bridge. "Scan for life signs. The humans are gone, but I want proof." A thin alien officer replied, "No signs of life, Admiral. Their stations are cold. Dead." Vorka nodded slowly. "Good. We will erase what remains." He turned toward the hologram of Earth, spinning faintly in the distance. "Let the Council see their mistake. Let this system burn." Far away, hidden behind the shadow of Saturn, 3 human ships waited in complete silence: the Spectre, the Vanguard, and the Nova. Inside the Spectre's bridge, Captain Jonah Pierce sat still, his eyes locked on the tactical display. The enemy fleet was in position, 12 ships, unaware they were being watched. The communications officer whispered, "Admiral Reyes is online." A small blue hologram appeared in front of Pierce, the calm face of Admiral Elias Reyes. "Captain Pierce," Reyes said quietly, "you know the plan." "Yes, sir," Pierce replied. "Then let's begin. The galaxy forgot who we are. It's time to remind them." Pierce gave a sharp nod. "Aye, sir." He turned to his crew. "Drop cloak on my mark. Target the flagship. Let's make it loud." His hands hovered over the command panel. He whispered, "For Earth." The Spectre's engines flared. Then, silence broke. In an instant, 3 invisible ships uncloaked in the middle of the alien fleet. To the aliens, it was like ghosts appearing from thin air. Red alarms screamed across the alien bridges. Unidentified contacts, they just appeared. Before the aliens could react, human railguns fired. Massive tungsten rounds shot through the dark, moving faster than light. The first alien cruiser exploded instantly, a silent bloom of fire and debris. The second followed a moment later. Then a third. Admiral Vorka's eyes widened in shock. "What? Cloaking is impossible at that range. How?" But there was no time for answers. Missiles streaked through the black void. The human ships moved like shadows, vanishing and reappearing, striking again and again. "Sir, our sensors can't lock on," shouted an alien officer. "They're invisible." Vorka slammed his claws on the console. "Fire at everything, blind fire." But it was too late. The Spectre and Vanguard moved through the chaos like hunters in the night. They fired, vanished, and reappeared behind enemy ships. Within minutes, half of the 7th Fleet was gone. Back on Earth, deep in the Atlantic Command Center, Admiral Reyes watched the battle unfold through holographic screens. His voice was calm. "Maintain pressure. Keep the cloak rotation active. Don't let them track us." Kara stood beside him, watching the alien icons blink out one by one. "Sir," she said softly, "they're retreating." Reyes smiled faintly. "Good. Let one survive." Kara frowned. One? Reyes turned to her. Someone has to tell the galaxy what happened here. In space, the last surviving alien warship tried to flee. Its engines roared as it turned toward deep space. Pierce's gunner locked on. We can finish it, sir. Pierce hesitated, then shook his head. Negative. Let it go. He opened a channel. His voice echoed across open space, carried on every frequency the aliens used. This is Earth Command. You said we were powerless. You were wrong. The message spread like wildfire across the alien network. Every listening post, every scout ship, every relay station, they all heard it. Admiral Vorka's last transmission reached the Council a few hours later. They live. The humans live. They have cloaking ships. Static, then silence. In the Galactic Council chamber, chaos erupted. Alien leaders shouted, argued, demanded answers. Impossible, one cried. They had no fleet left, another yelled. The Supreme Commander stared at the report, his cold eyes narrowing. Contact every fleet. I want full surveillance on the Sol system. But his voice shook, just a little. Back on Earth, Reyes stood before his officers. The lights of the command center glowed dim blue. The first strike is complete, he said quietly. They know we're alive now. Kara looked up. And now they'll come for us. Reyes nodded. Let them. We've been preparing for this for 10 years. He turned toward the viewing screen. The stars above the Atlantic shimmered faintly, human ships moving unseen among them. They thought silence meant surrender, he said, but silence was only the beginning. Far out in the darkness, a human drone transmitted the final message to all hidden colonies. Phase 2. Awaken the fleet. The galaxy burned with rumors. Every planet, every colony, every trade station whispered the same words. Humans are alive. Earth has a fleet. They destroyed the Seventh Command. For the first time in a century, the Galactic Command was afraid. Inside the Grand Council chamber, chaos ruled. Holograms flickered. Voices shouted over one another in dozens of alien languages. Reports poured in from border worlds, human signals detected, invisible ships appearing and vanishing, outposts gone silent. The Supreme Commander slammed his staff against the ground. Order! Silence! The room fell quiet. These are lies, he said coldly. Propaganda. The humans are extinct. Some pirate fleet uses their name to frighten us. But one nervous officer stepped forward, holding a data crystal. Sir, we recovered this from Admiral Vorka's ship before it was destroyed. The hologram played. Static, smoke, and then a terrified voice. They live. The humans live. Their ships are invisible. Then silence. Only the hum of the Council's energy core filled the hall. The Supreme Commander's hands trembled slightly. He ended the recording. Prepare every fleet. Lock down the human sector. If they are truly back, we will finish them this time. But deep down, in the quiet part of his mind, even he knew something had changed. Far away beneath Earth's oceans, the command center glowed in dark blue light. Admiral Reyes stood before a long line of screens. Alien communication channels filled the air. They were panicking, just as he hoped. Kara entered the room, carrying a small data chip. Sir, we decrypted one of their military archives. You should see this. Reyes took the chip, slid it into the console. A stream of alien text filled the screen, and then translated English words appeared. Project Origin, Human Technology Integration Directive. Reyes frowned. Integration? Kara nodded. It's worse than that, sir. The Galactic Command used stolen human tech to build their empire. She pointed to the files. Engine blueprints, AI cores, plasma weapon designs, all marked with Earth research, confidential. They took our science, she said softly. Turned it against us. Reyes stared at the screen. His voice was low but filled with fire. They built their galaxy on our bones. Across the solar system, the human fleet moved quietly, intercepting communication channels, gathering proof. Old satellites were reactivated, sending coded messages across light years. Each message contained fragments of truth, images, documents, recordings. Within weeks, half the galaxy knew the Galactic Command lied. Humanity didn't start the war. Human inventions powered the alien fleets. Protests began on distant worlds. Alien citizens questioned their leaders. Riots erupted on industrial planets where human-built AI still ran the machines. The truth was spreading faster than light. On the hidden flagship ECS Valkyrie, Reyes gathered his senior officers. Holograms of their allied captains flickered around the table, men and women who had survived years of hiding. "We have their secret now," Reyes said, "but information alone is not enough. We need to show the galaxy who we are." Captain Pierce from the Spectre leaned forward. "A broadcast?" Reyes nodded. "A live one. Across every galactic channel. Let them see our faces. Let them hear our words." Kara frowned. "Sir, if we broadcast, they'll trace us." Reyes looked at her. "Good. Then they'll come to us, and we'll be ready." Hours later, across thousands of star systems, every communication screen flickered, markets froze, ships stopped mid-flight, cities paused. A single image appeared. Their man, human, wearing a dark admiral's uniform, eyes sharp and calm. It was Admiral Elias Reyes, his voice carried through every speaker, translated automatically by old galactic networks, human-made networks. "To every world under the Galactic Command," he said, "I am Admiral Reyes of Earth. You were told we were extinct. You were told humanity was destroyed. That was a lie. For years your leaders used our science, our machines, our blood to build their power. They called us dangerous because we would not bow. They called us extinct because they feared we would rise again." He paused. The silence across the stars was total. "We do not seek to rule your worlds. We seek freedom. For every race, every voice, every world they silenced. If you want to live without fear, stand with us." The broadcast ended, and the galaxy changed forever. In the council chamber, screens shattered as angry delegates shouted, "You lied to us! You used human tech. You started this war." Civil war began that very hour. Entire fleets refused orders. Some worlds declared independence. The Galactic Command began to fall from within. The Supreme Commander stared at the fading broadcast. "Reyes," he whispered, "you have no idea what you've started." Back on Earth, Reyes stood before the ocean view window. Kara joined him, watching the stars shimmer above. "The message worked," she said. "They're fighting each other now." Reyes nodded slowly. "Good. But the command will come for us soon. They'll want revenge." Kara looked at him. "Then what's next?" He turned, a small smile forming on his face. "Next," he said, "we finish what they started." The ocean rumbled as massive shadows rose beneath the waves, new ships, larger than anything before. Engines ignited. The sea boiled. Above the clouds, hundreds of human vessels broke through the atmosphere, cloaked and silent. For the first time in a century, Earth's skies were full of ships again. And this time they weren't running. The galaxy burned with chaos. Every world, every fleet, every colony had felt the shockwave of the human revelation. Alien leaders bickered and collapsed under the weight of rebellion. But the Galactic Command's last armada still marched toward the Sol system, the largest fleet ever assembled. Thousands of ships gleaming with deadly precision. They believed they could crush Earth once and for all, but they had forgotten one truth. Humanity never surrendered. Above the Atlantic Ocean, the hidden fleet gathered in silence. Admiral Elias Reyes stood on the flagship ECS Valkyrie, looking out at the vast black sky. Hundreds of cloaked ships surrounded them, engines glowing faint blue under cloaking fields. From orbit to deep-sea hangars, humanity had risen from hiding. Kara Holt joined him. "Sir," she said, "all units report ready." Reyes nodded. "Good. Today we make history." He turned toward the assembled fleet commanders via hologram. "All units, hear me. They declared us powerless. They believed we were extinct. Today we show them the truth. Today we strike not as survivors, but as commanders of our destiny." The armada moved through the black void. The alien fleet, vast and gleaming, approached the solar system like a river of steel. They fired warning shots. Space erupted in blue-white explosions, but the human ships vanished. Silent shadows darted between enemy lines. Cloaking fields shimmered faintly, invisible to alien sensors. Every strike was precise, every maneuver calculated. "They're everywhere," Admiral Vorka screamed through his bridge feed. "They can't be tracked!" The human fleet split into 3 divisions. The Vanguard, fast attack ships striking at enemy flanks. The Ghosts, cloaked ships that tore through capital ships silently. The Valkyrie, Reyes's flagship, carrying the main fleet's firepower and command. Explosions lit the darkness like fireworks. Alien ships screamed in panic as humans struck, disappeared and struck again. But the Galactic Command had learned. "Concentrate fire on the main fleet," shouted the Supreme Commander. "Destroy Earth's command ship at all costs." Vorka's remaining ships formed a shield around the mothership. The largest human fleet in history moved forward, engines glowing with dark matter cores. Pierce's Spectre sliced through shields and lasers, leaving a trail of debris behind. Reyes watched the battle unfold through the Valkyrie's viewports. "Now, Kara," he said quietly. "Execute the final protocol." She nodded. The Valkyrie's engines roared, gathering energy from the core. Plasma beams shimmered across the hull. A single massive strike launched. It hit the alien mothership squarely. A silent explosion that tore through steel, energy shields, and core systems. The mothership's command bridge collapsed. Its signal went dark. Alien fleets scattered in confusion. Thousands of smaller ships surrendered or retreated. The largest galactic command armada in history was broken. In orbit, Reyes's voice carried through all human channels. "To every world of the galaxy, hear this. Humanity was never powerless. We survived. We hid, we rose. We fight not for conquest but for freedom." Across the stars, alien colonies cheered. Many defected. Some even joined the human-led alliance, the Terran Command. Back on Earth, the oceans were alive with ships. The cities above and below celebrated quietly. The hidden bases opened fully. Engineers and soldiers walked free, proud and unbowed. Kara stood beside Reyes as the first light of a new dawn broke over the Atlantic. "Sir," she said softly, "the war is over." Reyes shook his head. "Not the war," he said. "The galaxy has only begun to learn freedom." He looked toward the horizon, eyes cold but bright with hope. "They called us powerless. We became unstoppable." The Terran Command grew fast. Humans and allied species rebuilt worlds, restored colonies, and helped civilizations reclaim independence from the collapsed Galactic Command. Reyes's final order: every human and ally under Terran Command, explore, protect, and lead. The galaxy belongs to no one, except those willing to fight for it. In space, cloaked ships sailed silently among the stars. In cities, children learned the stories of humans who refused to die. In the hearts of the galaxy, one truth spread: never underestimate humanity. The blue planet of Earth, once thought weak, powerless, and forgotten, now stood as the center of hope and power in the galaxy. And in the silence of the deep, Admiral Reyes whispered, "We began as shadows, and now we are the light." The stars shimmered above. The galaxy had changed forever.